Guys, welcome back to AFL King of the Hill, where we make a player pyramid of the best players in the AFL. It changes every week. The red bar means you've gone down, the green bar means you've moved up, the blue bar means you've kept your spot. Let's just get into it. By the way, this is weekly. I've been doing this on TikTok and Instagram all AFL season. That's why there are players already on the hill. And if you missed last week's version of this, you can go back on my YouTube channel. It is on there now. But without further ado, let's get to the hill. First order of business today is to figure out who is off the hill. And it is Caleb Sarong. Caleb's so right. And after getting tagged, we saw Sam Mitchell not tag him, which was an interesting concept. But it didn't really hurt them. Caleb Sarong didn't have that much of an impact on the game. And although he's had a great season, there are just players having better seasons than him. So unfortunately for Caleb, he's off the hill. These are the list of players who are next up on the hill. Who's clipping at the heels of the bottom row of the hill? We've got players like Andy Brayshaw. And we call him Brayshaw because of his post-game interview. It looked like a scene from the Saw movies. We obviously have Big Max. He's still the best ruckman in the league. I don't care what you say. He's still the best ruckman in the league. Zach Merritt, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry that you play for that club. I'm sorry that all of your teammates are getting injured. I'm just sorry. But he's very close. He's had a very strong couple of weeks. Dane Zorko, aging like fine wine, is about this close. He's about this close to getting on the hill. He's having a phenomenal season, could arguably be the All-Australian halfback at the moment. And then lastly, coming with an absolute bullet, it is Brodie Grundy, Crocodile Dundee. He's just absolutely dominating games at the moment. And if he had been playing like this from week 1, the Swans might be in the top 8. Okay, let's get to the hill. And by the way, there is so much movement this week. Let's get into it. Firstly, Tom Green keeps his spot. He's just the engine. He's the stalwart of this GWS Giants midfield. Without him, they don't get the ball to the outside runners, and he just does it every single week. Coming down the hill, we've got two Geelong players, Max Holmes and Jeremy Cameron. I mean, guys, you just can't lose to the same team like 4 times in a row, especially when you're playing down in Geelong a few of those times. You just can't keep doing that and expect to keep your place at the top of the hill. Jezza might be the only player on this hill who has moved up and down pretty much every single week, because when he plays a bad team, he goes forward and just kicks 8. And when he plays a good team, he still has a really good impact on the game. You know, he can move up the ground, get his 15, 16 touches, kick a couple snags, but he just doesn't have that same pizzazz against some of the best teams in the league. So he just moves up and down every single week. And keeping his spot is Guy Sebastian Isaac Rankin. He's just becoming very, very important to this Adelaide Crows team. Without Josh Rochelle and with the midfield work of players like Jordan Dawson, his ability to be able to move forward, to play in the midfield, to impact at both of those positions, he is becoming extremely vital to this Adelaide Crows team. Boy, oh boy, did I get a lot of hate, a lot of feedback for putting Josh Dacos on the hill last week. And look who was right. Who has 2 thumbs and was correct about that? This guy. Because I watch Collingwood games very closely because they are the best team in the league. And you want to be watching the best teams in the league week in and week out. And his skill set has always been, so far this season, his ability to not turn the football over, and then his ability to get the ball moving forward. And you put those 2 things together whilst moving him up the ground into a midfield position. Now his effective disposals, which were coming out of the half-back line, are now coming into the forward line. And that's where he was able to just completely dominate score involvements in that last quarter and get on the scoreboard himself. Let's just not doubt me anymore, okay? I'm taking full credit for Josh's game on the weekend. But there's your bottom row. Let's get to the next one. Next. So with a couple players moving down, we have to have a couple players moving up. And the first one of those is Jordan Dawson. The skipper, he's on fire. His versatility in the air, on the ground. He's just having a phenomenal season. It would not surprise me if he's leading the Brownlow at the moment, which means with only a few weeks to go, he very well might win it. And deservedly so. His good games are very, very good. Next, Hugh McCluggage. Hugh McDamage keeps his spot. He just keeps rolling on. He's still probably the most important player of that Lions midfield, in my opinion. We obviously have players like Lachie Neale, players like Josh Dunkley, but what Hugh McCluggage can do on the inside and then what he can do on the outside with his run and carry, it is just phenomenal. And then coming down the hill, it is Sam Wemby Darcy. Now, I just need more consistency. His highs are so high, but his lows are also pretty low. He just disappears for almost quarters at a time. There are some times in a game where it gets to half time and I'm like, I haven't seen him once yet. And on the weekend, he had an almost game where in the first 5, 6, 7 minutes, He was getting his hands to absolutely everything. He just couldn't quite clunk them. But then he'll have games where he just clunks absolutely everything and has 10 scoring shots on goal. So it's that sort of variance that we just need to iron out a little bit. Moving up the hill, it is Matt Cowrell. He is just on fire. He's eating grass and getting clearances left, right, and centre. Put up a performance like he did against the best team in the league on Friday night. It was up in the Gold Coast. That is just hard to ignore, which means he has to move up the hill. There's your second bottom row. Let's get to the next one. Next, coming down the hill, we have Bailey Baslenka, Mr. Tinder Smith. Maybe just a touch too much time focusing on his Tinder profile and not focusing on getting clearances and running away from defenders with the football. But in all seriousness, he has had an incredible year. I just think the lack of continuity with his games, he's in 1 week, he's out in the next, he's in for 2 weeks, he's out for another. He's just not getting that rhythm. He doesn't feel like he's in rhythm every single game. So he comes in after a week off and he just looks like he's slightly off the pace a little bit. But at his best, he is absolutely phenomenal. It just means for a week, he does have to come down. Ed Richards keeps his spot, still one of the most damaging players in the league. The Bulldogs giving him the license to run forward, to run ahead of pretty much every stoppage has completely changed not only their makeup, but the way that he's able to impact the game. You'll see when you watch a Bulldogs stoppage, as soon as it looks like they're going to win, even before it looks like the Bulldogs are going to win the stoppage, he is sprinting forward of the football. It happens over and over and over again, and other teams have got to start picking this up and sending someone to him just to stop those forward momentum runs. Because if you just give him just an inch of space like we saw on the weekend, he just runs straight out of stoppage and kicks a goal. And he's been doing it all year. He's on fire. And coming up the hill, it is Zach Western Star Butters. Just one of the most versatile mids, can really win the ball on the inside of the contest, can win the ball on the outside of the contest. He might be the most untaggable player in the league just because of his pure explosive power, but also his just pure aggression at the football. It's really hard to tag someone out of the game who just runs and runs and runs and explodes at stoppage and explodes towards the football. He's really the shining light for the Port Adelaide Power this year, and boy oh boy, they better sign him up. They better keep him, because there are going to be a lot of clubs in Victoria asking for his signature at the end of next year when he is a restricted free agent. But there's your third row. Next. And with Baz coming down, it means that Jimmy Noah Anderson can come up. He is just having a phenomenal season. He is going to be the inaugural captain of the Gold Coast Suns to lead them to the finals. And I think they might be a very good sniff for the top four. We have to remember they do have that game in hand against Essendon in what we're going to be calling round 25, I guess. And unfortunately, with all of Essendon's injuries just stacking up and stacking up and stacking up, they might be playing 22 VFL players against the Gold Coast Suns with a chance for the Suns to get a top four chance. And Noah's had an incredible season, but just that game on Friday night, that is a captain's game. That is a captain's clearance to get that goal. And also the clearance before that who set up the goal that put them back in front. And this is a genuine coin flip between the Bont and who is on King of the Hill. And I'll tell you why in a second. So let's see who is King of the Hill this week. It is Josh's brother. Nick Dacos keeps his spot on top of the hill. And this is a genuine coin flip. The Bont is coming with a genuine bullet. He's playing phenomenal football. Nick is playing very good football. Could very well be leading the Brownlow at the moment. And this was a coin flip for me. This was a genuine coin flip for me. But what gave Nick the edge in this spot? It is purely the fact that the Bonts team isn't in finals and Nick's team is top of the ladder. That's basically the only way that I've split these two so far this year. Because I'm just not sure that the Bont could be King of the Hill if his team isn't even in the final series. I'm just not sure that we could actually make that work. Let's be honest, Nick is having an incredible year this year. He deserves to be at the top of the hill, if not the second row, right next to the Bont. Him and Bont are probably interchangeable at this point, but again, I've just given Nick the nod just purely because his team's better. He's impacting more wins than the Bont right now, even though the Bulldogs have almost four players on this list. But there we go. There is King of the Hill this week. Let me know who should move up, who should move down, who's not on the hill, who should be on the hill, who should be off the hill. I want to know everything that you think about this week's hill. But for this week, Josh's brother, Nick Dacos, is King of the Hill.